Hey, we're here with Dan Greenawalt, creative director of the Forza franchise. Thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about some Forza 7.
I'm happy to be here.
So we were talking, we were watching the trailer here, and we were vamping, and Anthony was wondering, is 700 cars enough?
Well, it's all about diversity, frankly. And we've got sport trucks. There's a race truck you can race on Mugello down at the show floor. We have the amazing 911 GT2 RS, which was featured actually on stage. That was an incredible moment on stage. And we also have a Nissan GTR race car that you can race through the rain on the Nürburgring. But that's just a smattering, right? You start getting into race trucks, you start getting into classic vintage sports cars, race cars, supercars, hypercars. I mean, the number of cars is just incredible.
I mean, if you were to try and, say, catch them all, how much time does that actually take you to do?
I have no idea, but I will say, actually, a new mechanic in the game is a car collecting mechanic, where you actually level up your car collector score based on how many cars you collect, and it increases the rewards you get through the game. The lead designer on this, the creative director on the Motorsport product line, actually worked on Pokemon for years as well. It's very true. It's very true, Bill Giese. And we've integrated that kind of mechanic. Now, it's not the primary. You're still a racing game, obviously.
Right.
But collecting's a big thing our fans love to do, and having 700 cars, why wouldn't you start collecting?
We can't all be on Jay Leno's level, actually collecting the physical cars in the real world. So maybe this is the next best
Let's just scratch
way
that
to
itch a
doing
little bit.
That's very true.
So you mentioned, at the show when you all had during the presser, you had the Porsche on stage. You have a partnership working with Porsche. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that bring to the game?
Porsche is amazing. I mean, the cars they make just speak to so many people around the world. And so to be there on stage, being upstaged by a car, was a great moment. So that Porsche, the 2018 Porsche 911 GT2 RS, had never been seen in the world. So that was a world debut here at E3 for our gamers. And that's what it's all about as a gamers. They're who brought this partnership to us. I mean, yeah, we make great racing games. We have a huge community. There's 4.8 million players actively playing Forza every single month. Well, car companies now look at Forza and say, yeah, we want in. We want to get into this audience. And so having Porsche there with this amazing car, and it's a monster. So being able to connect the Xbox One X, it's a monster, with this incredible car. Yeah, I mean, it was just too much to not do.
How's that felt, trying to move into this new architecture, this new, more powerful console? Has it been a pretty smooth transition for you guys? Or?
It has been shockingly smooth.
Really?
So I've been around since the beginning of Xbox. So the original Xbox, 360, all the way through, right? And I was originally on the PC side. So seeing the launch of a console go like this, it's completely unprecedented for us as developers. Now, Forza Motorsport 7 is the first game that we've built from the ground up to be on PC. Now, building it on PC means that we have to do a lot of configurations, different video cards and CPU speeds and mismatched PCs and the like, driver issues, of course. The nice thing is that Scorpio, Xbox One X, is basically like a high-end PC rig in your living room. I mean, I'm excited to play all my games on it because it's going to run the games better. What was amazing is, as a developer, it's not only a high-end PC rig, it's optimized. Incredibly optimized, and it's a set piece of hardware, so we can go in and really make our code sing on it. By doing so, actually our game got better looking on the original Xbox One and the Xbox One S, and our min PC spec came down.
Really?
Yeah, so optimizing for the high end, because we had this set box, made it better on all devices, and the game looks sick. I mean, it's incredible looking.
And you've said, I believe you all said that it's going to be 60 frames a second, 4K HDR on the Xbox One X.
It's important to note also, this is native 4K. This is not checkerboard 4K. This is native 4K, smooth 60 frames per second. And when we did that, we still had 30% more GPU to use.
Interesting.
So that was just getting the Forza Tech engine that was used in Forza Motorsport 6 running on the Xbox One X, 30% more headroom. I mean, as a developer, you're just like drooling. I mean, what more can I do? And so we just were like shadow resolution, car level of detail, draw distance. I mean, and of course we have higher resolution textures because going to 4K, you've got more detail, and that's texel. So it's the amount of pixels per texture that are shown on screen on a polygon are way increased. Sorry to get techie.
That's fine. We love it. I mean, but where do you? It seems like the way the game looks now. Like, where do you go from here? Like, every time a new Forza comes out, you think, well, there's no way a game could ever look better than that. And now we've made the jump into 4K, and you got the HDR, and you're talking about higher resolution textures. Like, what's next? Like, in my mind, I'm like, this is it. Stop. You're done.
So this is my favorite part about being a game developer is that's exactly the challenge we love to take on. And that's why we have a 5-year vision for the franchise. And it's not just graphics, it's actually the gameplay, it's the physics, it's being on the cutting edge of what it means to be doing race car vehicle dynamic physics, not for games, but for the whole industry. Now, on top of that, we've introduced the Forza Racing Championship Esports, which is a series that we've been doing. We're in our 3rd season now. Each one has doubled in the number of participants. And this, to me, is an exciting part of the future of not just gaming, but the future of motorsport, like real live motorsport. So this weekend at Le Mans, the 85th running of this historic race at Le Mans, Forza Racing Championship racers are going to be crowned as the 5th class at Le Mans. This is the most legit motorsport in the world, legitimizing gaming. Now, as a gamer, I'm like, we're already legit. But it's cool to have the real world say, yeah, we were always okay with your gamers coming and racing in our world. But now they're saying, no, we're actually going to legitimize real digital racing because the skill required is absolutely the same level of skill required. So this is cool, and this is just the future, right? This is what we're going to keep doing over the next several years. We're going to be listening to our community, adding content updates. I mean, you actually have been playing Forza Motorsport 7 if you've been playing Forza Motorsport 6. We were doing content updates in the game that were features in 7, released in 6. We were prototyping the Forza Racing Championship in our actual game. This is how innovation works, right? You try something, you find out what people say, you make it better.
Well, I mean, you're so deep into the series now. What do you find in Forza 7 that is making you excited about it? What about this game is really singing to you right now?
You know, we had this kind of mantra with Forza Motorsport 7, and this is how we actually introduce new ideas, is we come up with a theme, and we ideate around it, we think about it, we stress about it, we go see movies and talk about it afterwards. Humanity. Human. We wanted to bring more humanity into the game. And so that was the violence and the forces of racing, camera shake and hitting walls. It was having a kinetic system so the driver moved when it hit things. It was pulling the driver out. So the driver's actually outside of the car. You can add different suits, change and customize your driver. And because of the Drivatar system, your Drivatar is going to show up in my single-player race, driving the way you drive with your suit, in your car, with your customized livery. And so that experience, bringing people together, adds humanity into the game. But it's even how the audio works in the game. There's more imperfections. And this is what we found as we went to the higher resolutions of this generation, was it was the imperfections that actually made things look better, more real. Because we're all imperfect, right? What, we've all got makeup on for a reason.
Guys. Well, some of us are fine. And also, I would like to apologize to anyone who my drive avatar may come across in the world. Just stay clear of it. You're in serious trouble.
We've actually given people more options to control that as well. So
go ahead and block me now.
Exactly. If you want the Drivatars in your race to be a little bit more predictable, more AI-like, you can actually override and make them do so. Or if you want to really drive the way your friends drive and get that insights and have those water cooler talks about, hey, your Drivatar ran me off the road, you can do that as well. So we wanted to empower the players, and this is what it means to embrace a PC audience, giving them lots of options with wheels and lots of options with graphical switches and, of course, controlling your experience.
I mean, you keep mentioning PC and it built up from the PC. Is this going to have any kind of play anywhere functionality?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so
okay,
this is an XPA game. So if you buy it on the Xbox One, you're going to be able to play it, of course, on Scorpio, or Xbox One X. I keep doing that.
We're in the same boat.
It just got announced. You're good. Don't worry.
I know. And then, of course, on PC. So if you buy it Windows 10 PC in the Windows Store, you're going to be able to play it on all of your devices. And then your save game, your achievements. It's also a cross-play title. So we allow you to play against the PC audience, against the Xbox audience. Now, when you start getting into leagues and then the upper echelons of esports, and the leagues is a competitive gaming series inside of our game, we're going to be more careful on how we curate who plays against who and when and where and what have you. But for the most part, XPA and crossplay just make it kind of so it's a unified, awesome community that's always there and vibrant.
So, I wonder, like, are there any... I guess that's why you have to be careful. I wonder about any advantages or disadvantages, PC versus Xbox. So I guess that's why when you get to the higher level, you really have to sit down and look and think about the way all of those things interact and work with each other.
We do, but it's really interesting to note. Obviously, different genres have different challenges. And in the racing genre, we have high-end wheels and we have controllers, even high-end controllers like the Elite controller. And if you grew up playing Minecraft and then first-person shooters, and a controller is just an extension of your hand, then some of our racers are incredibly fast with a controller. We also have professional race car drivers that play our game. Tony Kanaan, right? Indy 500 winner. He plays Forza all the time. He's part of our community. He sets hot lap times, and he plays often with a wheel. And he's very fast for the wheel. I can't compete
He's
with
got
him.
a lot of practice with it, yeah.
So, when people get into the debate of like which one has an advantage, cockpit view versus third-person view, controller versus wheel, what we found is that different segments of our audience actually have an advantage with different ones. And we're going to have to just keep turning the innovation crank and figuring out how do we segment them? Do we interlace them? What do we do?
So speaking of the innovation crank, it seems like the addition of dynamic weather is another huge feature coming to this iteration of the game. Why choose to add dynamic weather? Like, what does that bring to the game?
Well, with Forza Motorsport in particular, it's always physics first. We start with physics. And, the thing I love about working on Forza is we have Motorsport and we have Horizon. Horizon exploration and beauty. It's just an incredible game, and people have been just enjoying the hell out of it. But when you get to Motorsport, it's precision, it's competition, it's about this, this community. So it starts with physics. We looked at the heat of Dubai. So one of the tracks in there is, it's in the UAE, it's Dubai. It's an original track. You go up the Hafit Pass. The temperatures were so intense that even when we sent a team there to capture it, it was a dangerous place to be because of the heat. They were really,
someone really drew the short straw to have to go do that. Gotcha.
Truly. And so we start with the dynamicism of the heat building up in your tires. Now, when you're on something like the Nürburgring, where it's a clear day and then the clouds roll in and then the rain comes down, puddles grow, puddles evaporate or drain off, and then the road dries, it starts with the physics. So yeah, the clouds animate, and we've got thunderstorms, and we've got incredible graphical bells and whistles, but that's not where it starts for us. It's always about the physics. It's always about the driver experience.
It's about that feel of the car on the road. Because that's, that's largely what people want to replicate with this, right? With a gaming escapism experience is let me feel that.
Yeah, and get the thrill and the danger.
What kind of things can we expect from the single-player experience? What kind of races can we see?
Yeah, well, there's an all-new campaign called the Forza Drivers Cup. It's motorsport, real-world motorsport inspired, so you actually get race series points against other drivatars as you're racing through these series. But the cool thing is it's segmented not based on speeds. You're not going 0 to hero. We're assuming you're a hero. We're going to treat you like a hero. So that means you're actually going to start in a chapter that's not the slower chapter, it's the awesome chapter. And then we open up bigger and more awesome chapters over time because there's 700 cars. We want to get you to experience the breadth and diversity. But you choose your own path. If you want to get into these types of cars, you can do it through all the chapters. You can redo races. You can actually change the settings so that all of your races are really long. You can keep them short. We've just been giving people lots of options so they can play how they want.
That's great.
And you can play, you're talking about, all the cars, but there's also a huge variety of locations and, various customizations. Like, what kinds of things can we get into, like in the nitty-gritty and the customization on the car end?
Well, wide body kits. So you can put wide body kits on your cars. This is something our fans have been asking for in the motorsport side in particular. It was introduced in Horizon last year. So you can put wide body kits on. There's also all the other body kit customization. Our extensive livery editor where you can actually paint cars, and the auction house is returning. So you're going to be able to sell your creations to other people in the community in the auction house. And that's always been a huge driver of community for us. I love what our community makes. Their paint schemes are always getting tweeted at me, and I'm always like, retweeting them out because they're just amazing works of art.
Yeah, I'm terrible at making things like that and doing the custom editing
So
myself.
am I.
So yeah, I think something like that really speaks to someone like me who's like, I just want something that looks really cool. It's kind of unique. Like, oh, here's another person who's passionate about this, and they've made it, and we can make a trade. We can make it happen.
And they have actual talent, so they can make it so it's pretty.
Yeah. I'm talented at many things. Artistry is not one of them.
And here I thought you were perfect, Gus.
No, less than perfect in some sides of things.
It's actually the diversity of the community that makes it strong, though. We do have these tremendous painters, and then the rest of us, hey, let's just call ourselves consumers, fans of those painters. But it's the same way with the way people play. We've got split screen in this game. So, I can play against my kids, you can play against your friends, you can play in a flat. Split screen is part of what brings in a different type of audience to here, and that speaks to our vision. I want to create the next generation of car fan, but I can't do it by squeezing them into my mold. I need to embrace this new generation that grew up watching streaming and grew up, playing video games. And so having this really diverse game where a kid can get in and play split screen, have a great time, all these assists are on, it makes it really easy, and a professional racing driver can actually be getting paid to race in the Forza Racing Championship. that diversity is its strength, and it goes to the creators as well.
So you're talking about people who grew up watching Twitch streams, and we have you have mixer integration here as well. Like how deep does that mixer integration go into Forza? Like what kinds of things can we expect to see?
Well, the mixer integration is really in the shell itself of the Xbox, so it makes it really easy for streamers to just jump in. But we also contact our streamer community. So we spend a lot of time asking, our top streamers, what do they like, what do they want, and we take a franchise perspective. How are we going to embrace our streamer community over time in lots of our games? So there is integration, but it's mostly geared towards the competition and esports and professional racing inside of our game in Forza Motorsport 7.
Sure. So I think you're calling this the most comprehensive auto racing game ever made. How important is that, and what does that mean to your team?
I love working at Turn 10. I love working on Forza. We've got multiple teams, Playground and Turn 10, that are just full of passionate people that want to make great games and great racing games. And we just keep coming up with new ideas and doing new things. So it is a huge game. 700 cars, over 30 environments. Every time you go to a new environment, it's different. Clouds are rolling in, all those changes. But to me, it's the innovation in the gameplay that matters, the way the game feels. It just drives so well. And the career, this new career, the new car collecting bit, which actually we haven't talked to a lot of people, so you kind of got fresh eyes.
When that many cars, how could you not want to?
Exactly. So to me, it is the most comprehensive game. It's also the most technically advanced game, what we're doing with both the physics and the graphical rendering. But I'm really proud of the gameplay experience we can give to such a diverse audience of people. Europe, the United States, men, women, children. That's the part that excites me the most, because that's to our vision, creating a world of car fans that embrace the new generation.
And it seems like the Forza franchise and this type of game really can transcend and hit a wide range of people, like a wide audience. Like if I try to picture like what a stereotypical Forza fan looks like, I can't do that.
Yeah, and it's amazing. There's so many fans here at E3 this year. By opening the gates to a lot of fans, it's been awesome. We had this 919, so it's a LMP race car that we just unveiled this morning down outside of the hall, and it was just people flocked to it. It's so cool, and all the fans are so excited, and I love meeting other people that love cars. And you're right, you can't picture who they are: men, women, children, people from all these accents. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Twitter here, by the way, and I see at Peter Hayes F1 says, yes, wide body, awesome. So I think people are really excited about some of the things you're talking about here.
Now, with this association with Porsche, did anybody get to go drive anything cool?
Yes.
Yeah. Get to get out there on the track a little bit and take a.
Yeah.
Well, you got to know what you're doing, right?
Well, and also Porsche as a company is really about racing. So they really embrace that idea that at the tip of the spear for them is racing, and that's at their heart. The heart is in Weissach, Flocht. These are Stuttgart is what everybody thinks about. Their real heart is Weissach, and this is where the GT cars are created. So we went out to Weissach. We saw their GT cars being created. We saw 919s being put together. We saw 911 GT2 RS in its mule form. It's an incredible experience to mix with a company that is so passionate about racing. And yes, they make other amazing cars as well, but they're just a great group to work with.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think we're all excited to see where it goes. So I want to thank you for taking time to join us this morning, Dan. Really informative. We're going to throw it back over to our side crew and see how they're doing.